Everybody like, hey, are you ready to go? Ready to go? Everybody like, hey.
Alright, what is going on, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, I have not uploaded on this channel in the last couple of months, and you know, that's kind of just gonna happen because at this point in time, this channel is not my primary focus at the moment. However, my main channel, which is Pokemon focused, would not allow me to talk about one of my favorite franchises of all time, which is Kingdom Hearts. And recently, the anniversary event announced Kingdom Hearts 4. We all saw that. It is actually extremely hard to miss. So I want to talk about that. And obviously, again, my main channel won't allow me to really do that right now. And I wanted to talk about it. So I'm just going to throw it up on here because I want to talk about the game a little bit and my thoughts and feelings and things about it before it comes out or gets too close to coming out, because by the time it gets close, we'll probably have a lot more information. But we have an entire year of most likely nothing for the most part, because Kingdom Hearts games take quite some time. 3 was in development hell. That's a different discussion entirely, because it had to switch engines mid-development and they had to go through hell to pretty much get that out. But it took its time. It's here. We now have Kingdom Hearts 4 announced only about 3 years later, which is really impressive timing, and I'm excited. This is the first time there was just only like one game before the next mainline game in a long time, and I'm really excited for that. So this video here is going to be really simple. I have hopes and wishes for Kingdom Hearts 4 that I really want to come to fruition. Now, obviously, I have a lot more that are definitely going to come down the line, and I could do like a part 2 of this, or I could talk in depth about those individual wishes maybe, or something along those lines. But for right now, I've grouped up just a good couple of my hopes and wishes, because these are the primary things that came to mind immediately when thinking of things that I want to come to Kingdom Hearts 4. So if you could bear with me for a couple of minutes, I'd like to talk to you guys about some of my hopes and wishes going into Kingdom Hearts 4. Now, usually I would have done like an analysis or breakdown or something like that, but I kind of fumbled. Due to certain circumstances, I was not able to do any kind of reaction video. I was not able to do much of anything really. And all of the breakdowns and analysis and stuff, they're already out, so I wouldn't be able to say anything that somebody else hasn't already said or anything like that, so it would be kind of pointless. I do know a lot about Kingdom Hearts. I do know my lore. I have played UX, unfortunately, so I know my lore much more than one may think when it comes to this series. But so I have my knowledge, but again, an analysis and breakdown of the trailer would be kind of pointless at this point in time because there's so many out there. If I were to recommend like one of the best ones, I say go watch The Gamer's Joint. His breakdown is phenomenal. So anyway, off topic, I want to talk about some of my hopes and wishes. So we're gonna jump right in. The first wish that I have is that this game has a fun mix of the combat mechanics from Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3. Now, as of recently, just the other night at the time of this recording, I actually went and, you know, I'm in a Kingdom Hearts mood now. I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts. I didn't know which one I wanted to play. I played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 back to back. And now more than ever, I realized why everybody was saying that the combat in Kingdom Hearts 2 was so much better. It feels crispier. It feels more sturdy. It feels more grounded, as opposed to Kingdom Hearts 3 combat, which is a little bit slower, a lot more floaty, and things like that. It's different. However, I don't hate Kingdom Hearts 3 combat by any means. I feel like there's so many different mix-ups that you could do in Kingdom Hearts 3 that would be completely just unheard of in Kingdom Hearts 2 because of just how many options and how much range you have in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I like that about 3. I don't mind the floatiness as much, but comparing it right next to Kingdom Hearts 2's like grounded sturdiness with the quickness as well, it is pretty much night and day. Kingdom Hearts 2 does have the best combat in my opinion, and while I do love that combat, I would love to have that feeling back, but I don't want them to completely get rid of what they had in Kingdom Hearts 3, although I doubt that that's going to happen anyway. I have a good feeling that we're probably going to follow up a little more on 3, a little bit closer, but if we can, it would be incredible if we could have a genuine clean mix of the two. I love what they both have to offer. and I feel like they could, in the right hands, really complement each other. And I want that sturdiness, but I also want those crazy combo options that 3 offers. Okay, so that's just a me thing. Maybe you disagree, maybe you just want something as simple as Kingdom Hearts 2's, but I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2's was easier to ground because there wasn't as, how do I put this without it sounding stupid? I can't, so I'm just not going to. Never mind. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on from that. So my next big wish is that Sora keeps his Quadratum look consistent throughout this game. Now, for those of you who don't know, Sora is currently in Quadratum, which is essentially a form of afterlife, you know, because Sora did essentially, I guess spoiler alert, even though it's literally in that trailer that I'm sure everybody's watched by now, Sora's gone. Like, he legit, like, passed on almost because he was abusing the power of waking, and so in turn he ended up in Quadratum. So, and because Quadratum is pretty much based on reality, like a more realistic setting, because he is literally in a area in Tokyo, or a place based on an area in Tokyo, or, you know, Shibuya, it's very realistic, and because of that, Sora looks very realistic, and I think I like that. I really like his current look right now because he looks more detailed and older and better, and it feels like I've really grown up with, I've grown up with this character. I really have, since I was, what, 13, 12 even? So I've grown up with him, and I really like his look right now because it feels like I can really see his growth, you know? You could see it throughout the other games as well, but not nearly as much, okay? Which is why I really like his realistic look so much. He looks so much more mature, and I would love to see our goofy little idiot, you know, in this form throughout the game. I love this form on him, and hopefully it stays consistent like that throughout the entirety of the game. I'm sure it will, you know, that would be kind of a waste to design him like that and then to just kind of throw it away. But, you know, on the off chance that that is a thing that's happening, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't care what world he goes to. I love his little plush face, man. His little plump face. I love him so much. So that's another thing. The next thing that I really, this one may come as a shock. But I'm hoping that Sora isn't the only playable character this time around. Now, I highly doubt that that's going to be a thing. Sora's always the number one, like, you play as him throughout 90 to 95% of the mainline games, even though all of them are the mainline games, the most, like, the numbered ones are always, like, Sora centered, except for Kingdom Hearts 2, which was partially, actually, like, in that one, you can knock it down to, like 80%, because Roxas was the first, like, couple of hours. But I like that. I liked being able to play as Roxas, and, you know, you could definitely feel that Roxas is a different character from Sora. He controlled it a little differently. The way he swung his Keyblade was more unique. It was very interesting. I love that about Roxas, and I love being able to play as him. And I love Sora to death, and I definitely want him to be the other main character, obviously, but I want another main character. I don't care who it has to be. I'm going to talk about one of them right now as a possibility, and I'm probably going to talk about the other one a little bit later, but I'm just saying, you know, there's going to be multiple Keyblade wielders around. There's no reason for Sora to be the only playable character, the only playable main character. I feel like in Kingdom Hearts 3, it was kind of a wasted opportunity to not be able to play as Riku more, and Roxas more, and Kairi more. Like, you develop so much of their movesets. Why are they not playable? You know, it was really weird that Riku controlled so well and he had so many unique moves about him, yet we weren't able to use him. Same with Kairi, same with Roxas when we were able to fight against Sayax with him. Or, you know, if you wanted to, you could just let Roxas, you could let partner NPC Roxas do all the work if you really wanted. But me personally, I wanted to play as Roxas again because Roxas is easily one of the strongest Keyblade wielders of all time. Like, that, there's no debate on that. Like, he's clapping most of the other Keyblade wielders without a doubt. You can fight me on that all you want. But either way, my point is, I really hope that Sora isn't the only playable main character. So that actually kind of leads me into my next thing here, is that Strelitsa, the girl that we met at the beginning, is a partner, or at the very least a very heavily recurring character, because she's been gone long enough, you know, and she's right here in Quadratum with us. She's right there. She's a Keyblade wielder, and you know, when we got to know her at first, she was a very nervous person. She didn't really, you know, get the chance to meet us, the player character, because she was so nervous. And I want the chance to be able to fix that. You know, I want to be able to change that. I want to see how she's grown. I want to be able to, you know, see her grow throughout this story. I want her to be present. I don't care how it has to be. I want her to be present. I really want her to be around, because I don't want to lose her again. All right. It really did suck, you know, getting to know her in Union Cross and then just her just getting flatlined like that. And we don't see her for years on end. That really sucks. I truly do not care if she's not a playable character, but at the very least, I want her to be a partner, or I want her to be traveling alongside Sora, even if it's not, you know, in game. You know, even if we don't see her, I want her to be the, you know, the Jiminy Cricket that's that's just with us, even if she's not like seeable, you know, because I want her to come back. And you know, it would make sense for her to be a main partner. That would be really cool. She would be the one helping guide Sora through Quadratum, because if there's anybody that would know it well, it would be her. And also, she would be able to defend herself just fine. She's a Keyblade wielder. She's been a Keyblade wielder for longer than Sora's even been alive, you know? So, it would make sense for her to be a partner. And I think that would just make me happy. I just want her to be around. I don't care how it has to happen. Just make her there and important. I feel like something's going to go down that's going to kidnap her or something, because it's going to be this is how it always happens in these games. It's going to be one of those situations. Oh, girly, you've said too much. Sora doesn't need to know that much. Coming from the Master of Mathers, goofy ass, and he's going to kidnap her, and Sora's going to do everything he can to save her. Even if everybody does come to Quadratum, he's going to find a reason to stay in Quadratum to help a friend if need be, because that's just who Sora is. He doesn't care how long he's known her. They've met, they're friends now. That's how Sora operates, and that's most likely what's going to happen. But in my personal opinion, I think it would be a grave mistake to not be able to get to know Strelitsa throughout the game, to have her as a partner. She would be perfect. She's a great candidate, and I would love to have her as a partner through Kingdom Hearts 4. The next thing, this is gonna sound really weird. While I do love them, I do, and I would love to see them back, maybe at some point, but not throughout the entirety of the game. I hope that Donald and Goofy aren't the primary partners throughout Kingdom Hearts 4. We've had them for every mainline game, and that's totally fine, but I can't even imagine what they would look like when they got to Quadratum. And it just, I don't know, there's just something about them being around that doesn't fit, you know? And you know, Dream Drop Distance is the, you know, one of the weirder outliers of the mainline games that really ties a lot of things together. And it was nice to be pretty much mostly by yourself for the most part. Like, you did have, you know, the Dream Eaters and things like that. They didn't do as much unless you were like actively utilizing them or anything like that. But no, they were actually pretty good. But you know, I liked having the Dream Eaters as partners as opposed to just Donald and Goofy. You know, they don't need to be there all the time. And, you know, the whole point is them trying to get to Quadratum to get Sora out, you know? And so it would be kind of weird for them to show up in literal, like, within minutes of the game, only to just be the partners throughout, and for them to be stuck in Quadratum with Sora. You know, it would make more sense for them to be searching all that time for a way to get him out of Quadratum, so that, you know, Sora has to make new friends and learn along the way, you know, who's on his side, who isn't, and, you know, for them to be on their own two separate journeys this time around. You know, again, I love Donald and Goofy to death. They don't need to be here for every single game. They don't need to be here for everything, okay? That's just my opinion, though. Maybe you disagree with me on that, but it is what it is. My next thing is that y'all gotta ease up on the Disney stuff when it comes to the main story this time around, because the stories are starting to get way too heavy for the Disney stuff to be taking over. Now, what I mean is, I'm fine with the Disney stuff. I love the Disney stuff. I love having Disney as a primary factor in these games. The problem is, though, is that it usually only hurts for the most part. Like, for example, when you go back and you look at Kingdom Hearts 3, right? We had story, and then we just had Disney for a very long time. We just knocked out all of the Disney stuff and then back to the story, and then it was just all story right at the end. Now, see, at the very least, I want them to go back to the format of like Kingdom Hearts 2 is peaked for a reason. In Kingdom Hearts 2, they had a very solid format. They had it so that there was story, Disney, story, Disney, and then like story right in the middle, like heavy story, and then Disney, and then more story at the end. They balanced it out, okay? Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of did that, you know, all of the organization members would show up in the Disney worlds and stuff like that, of course, but you know, we didn't really interact with them very much, you know? It's not like we fought Larxene in the Frozen world, or we fought with Luxord or Lucert or whatever, however you pronounce his name, in Pirates world or anything like that, you know? They were just kind of around, but they didn't really do much, you know? And Kingdom Hearts 2, they really balanced it out. While they still focused on the Disney worlds, there was still, like, you know, a lot of things interweaving, and you know, there's story just kind of meshed in there as well, and it worked out really, really well. And I would want them to follow a formula very similar to Kingdom Hearts 2's as opposed to Kingdom Hearts 3's. Like, again, love 3, but it was a little imbalanced when it came to the story stuff, because it was just so much Disney for such a long time that you finally finish all the Disney worlds and you're like, oh god, okay, what now? And then you're dumped on with so much story all at once. It's like, you guys could definitely find a better way to interweave the Disney stuff with the mainline story stuff. I think there's a better way to do that. Hopefully you guys handle it well, but we'll play it by ear. And so the last main thing that I want to talk about here, and again, I'm down to do a part 2, so don't worry if you didn't hear anything that you wanted to hear. But I want to meet up with Yozora. One of my biggest wishes is to meet up with Yozora. I don't care how it has to happen. I don't care how we do it. I want Sora to meet up with Yozora. I don't care if it has to be another fight. I don't care if Yozora is friends with him and they end up actually journeying together, although Yozora is insanely overpowered. So I don't think that would work, because that would be like having two Soras, two main characters combating the Master. They would pop him. Or actually, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. We don't know what role Yozora plays in the story yet. We don't know, but I'm tired of not knowing. We met him at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3, right in Toy Story's world, and he was just never explained. He was just never explained, and it got really annoying. And then we finally meet him in Remind a couple of months, or a year later, only for him to want to clap us to save that. It doesn't make any sense. I need more Yozora, and because we aren't getting a Verum Rex game in between because Tetsuya was too worried about Sora, which is fine, we need Verum Rex something. We have to. What is with Yozora and his girl and his squad and the robots? What is his deal? I don't care what has to happen. I need to know what his situation is. I'm serious. I'm so serious. So that just about wraps up all of my thoughts regarding my wishes and hopes for Kingdom Hearts 4 for now. Like I said, I'm down to do a part 2, but for now, these are my immediate thoughts on things that I really want to happen. I do have another Kingdom Hearts video that I'm going to do very, very soon, so if you stick around, you'll definitely catch that very early. But let me know what you guys think. What are your guys' hopes and wishes for Kingdom Hearts 4? Is there things that you want to see? Is there things that you don't want to see? You know? Let me know everything in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always down there with you guys. But with that, I'm gonna get the hell up out of here. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And with that, I'm out. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!